Max Kennedy blasted his brother RFK Jr. in a new blistering LA Times editorial. So today we're gonna go through that article and see what he had to say to his brother, who just endorsed Donald Trump. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you Kerry Kennedy, who is also speaking out against her brother. So take a look at this clip.
I think this is really the stakes this November couldn't be higher, which is exactly why my whole family will be fighting so hard to reelect Kamala Harris and Coach Waltz, who've been champions for the values that my family has fought for years. Donald Trump is the polar opposite. He's a threat to the most basic freedoms that are core to who we are as Americans, the right for women to control our bodies, the right to live in communities safe from gun violence, to love who you love. And I think if my dad were alive today, the real Robert Kennedy would have detested almost everything Donald Trump represents. His lying, his selfishness, his rage, his cynicism, hatred, racism, fascist sympathies, deliberate misinformation about vaccines, criminal felony convictions. Daddy was the Attorney General of the United States. His rape of E. Jean Carroll, his contempt for the poor and suffering, for ethics, democracy, healing, his cruel sneering at human rights for suffering people in America and around the world. And these are the causes that was loved so passionately by the real Robert Kennedy. So I'm outraged and disgusted by my brother's gaudy and obscene embrace of Donald Trump. And I completely disavow and separate and dissociate myself from Robert Kennedy Jr. in this flagrant and inexplicable effort to desecrate and trample and set fire to my father's memory.
Yeah, it's clear that every Kennedy agrees that RFK Jr. has gone off the deep end. So let's take a look at what Max Kennedy had to say to his brother. So here is this editorial opinion. Ignore my brother Bobby, Max Kennedy says. I am heartbroken over my brother Bobby's endorsement of Donald Trump. I think often about my father and how he might have viewed the politics of our time. I'm not sure what he would have thought of TikTok or AI, but this much I know for sure. He would have despised Donald Trump. Trump was exactly the kind of arrogant, entitled bully my father used to prosecute. Robert F. Kennedy's life was dedicated to promoting the safety, security, and happiness of the American people. That is why he would have so admired another former prosecutor, Kamala Harris. Her career, like his, has been all about decency, dignity, equality, democracy, and justice for all. Trump is the enemy of all that. The only thing he seems to be for is himself, and disturbingly autocrats such as Vladimir Putin, whom my father would have regarded as an existential threat to our country. Yet my brother now endorses Trump. To pledge allegiance to Trump, a man who demonstrates no adherence to our family values, is inconceivable to me. Worse, it is sordid. Earlier this month, as Harris surged in the polls, my brother offered her his endorsement in exchange for a position in her coming administration. He got no response. Now he has offered that same deal to Trump. His is a hollow grab for power, a strategic attempt at relevance. It is the opposite of what my father admired, the unselfish spirit that exists in the United States of America. Now this line's very interesting to me because America's all about being selfish. It's all about the individual and, bringing yourself up by your bootstraps, that kind of thing. Like, it's all about the individual, not the collective society. So I guess this just goes to show you how much of a different time it was that many years ago. It is all the more tragic because of our brother's name. To carry the name Robert F. Kennedy Jr. means a special legacy within a legacy. It would strongly imply a desire to carry on our father's work. But Bobby's alliance with Trump puts this in jeopardy. Let me go through the record. Now he goes ahead and lists some things here, but we're gonna go ahead and skip this. At the University of Kansas on March 18th, 1968, my father said, "We as a people are strong enough. We are brave enough to be told the truth of where we stand. This country needs honesty and candor in its political life, and from the President of the United States. The truth is essential to democracy, and truth is essential inside a family too. For all of these reasons, the truth requires me to set the record clear. I love Bobby, but I hate what he is doing to our country. It is worse than disappointment. We are in mourning. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine I would be motivated to write something of this nature. With a heavy heart, I am today asking my fellow Americans to do what will honor our father the most. Ignore Bobby and support Vice President Kamala Harris and the Democratic platform. It is what's best for our country. As my father said in a campaign of his own, I want all of us, young and old, to have a chance to build a better country and change the direction of the United States of America. Max Kennedy is an author, an attorney, and ninth child of Ethel and Robert Kennedy. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife, Vicky. So yeah, it's clear that all of the Kennedys disagree with where RFK Jr. is going, and it's great to hear what they have to say as they blast their brother for going down this wrong path. And it's no surprise either. Anyone with any dignity would speak out against Trump and their brother in this situation. And it's dangerous that RFK Jr. might bring some moderates over to Trump's campaign, which is why it's super important that we have people speaking out about RFK Jr. And the more people that we can get coming out against RFK Jr., the better.